just be like very silent. It's only like 17 to like 20 minutes. Just be very silent. Thank you. Okay. Good morning, and thank you for coming out today. I know it's a little bit cold. We are here today to remember the victims lost in the Parkland mass shooting on February 14th at 10 a.m. And we're also here to make this time as meaningful as possible, to make sure that they're not just another story. We'll hear from several Malden High School students, and then we will write a letter, all of you, to our representatives and our senators. So first, give it up to Megan Yip.
The number of mass shootings that have occurred in my short 18 years is, in lack of better words, despicable. I remember being in my 7th grade science classroom a day after the massacre at Sandy Hook, as my teacher explained to us what we would do if something like that were to happen in our school. I remember many of my classmates and I trying to cram ourselves into cabinets and under tables, giggling during a safety drill. At age 12, we viewed these drills as time to get out of doing classwork. Then came the Pulse nightclub shooting and the massacre that happened at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. As a person of color and someone who identifies as bisexual, I became more paranoid than ever. I felt like there was a target on my head. I could see myself and many of the people I know and love in so many of the victims. And of course, the Parkland shooting resonated the most with me, being a high school student. Like many of you, when the news of the Parkland shooting arose, I thought to myself, that could have been me. This could happen to me. I do not want to be paranoid that a mass shooting could occur solely because I am a student. And that is why I walk out today in protest. I truly and genuinely believe that our generation has the ability to change the world. We have seen evidence of that through the work of Emma Gonzalez, Cameron Koski, and the abundance of survivors of the Parkland shooting moving forward from tragedy and prompting movements such as today's walkout. I don't want you leaving today thinking that you could be the next victim of a shooting because you are a student. I want all of you to leave today thinking, yes, you are a student, and because you are a student, you have the ability to make change in the world. Thank you.
Here right now? Somewhere? Okay, we go to the next one. Next, we will hear from Angela Solis.
So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Angela Solis. I'm a junior. So, reflecting on these events, I realized that we have to stand up for ourselves and our safety. The NRA is worried about their rights being under attack. What about the right to live? The victims in the Parkland shooting did nothing to deserve this fate. A fate that might have been prevented if lawmakers cared about public safety as much as they cared about their Second Amendment right. Too many times we've had to turn on the news and read the devastating headlines of yet another school shooting. These are real people and real families, not just stories. Since Sandy Hook, there have been hundreds of school shootings all around the country. So today, I ask you all to take a moment and think about all the times you've joked about someone looking like a school shooter based on their looks, and realize that it's not a joke, it's never been a joke. School shootings are not jokes. Guns can be dangerous and people can be dangerous. We don't even have to imagine what happens when you mix the two. We all know what they're capable of. We may just be high school students, but that does not mean we can't incite change in our country. Martin Luther King once said that there comes a time when silence becomes betrayal. And in the time where lawmakers fail to change any current gun laws to ensure our safety, we have been betrayed by our government. We must make our voices heard and let our government know that we won't let innocent people keep dying just because some whack job got a hold of a gun way too easily.
So I forgot to introduce myself, but my name is Briti Sege, and I'm a junior here. So I'm going to say a little something. So I believe, and feel free to disagree with me because this is a free country, that America is one of, if not the best countries in the world. That's my experience with it. So when other countries like Canada and the UK have lower mass shooting than us, when we have the highest rate of gun deaths in developed countries, we all need to seriously start looking at and changing things. And our politicians don't seem to want to do that because of how partisan everyone is. They're controlled by gun lobbyists like the NRA, Gun Owners of America, and Second Amendment Foundation. They're controlled by money, and some are controlled by genuine fear that gun reform will strip people of their Second Amendment. But this isn't anything new. Every amendment has limitations. With the First Amendment, the limitations are in a private home, in a private workplace, social media, obscene speech, or dangerous speech. In all these circumstances, the First Amendment isn't guaranteed. So when we call for gun reform, we're not coming after legal guns with responsible owners. As a history student, I truly think that it would be outrageous for people to be stripped of their Second Amendment rights. However, there comes a point when we have to think about what seems like it's happening every day. How is it that we make up 4.4% of world population but own about 44% of guns? How can so many school shootings happen but nothing gets done? Because these 17 students who were murdered in the Parkland massacre deserve more than a moment of silence on the Senate floor. They were children who had futures that might have changed the world. But in 1 second, with one semi-automatic weapon that an 18-year-old bought legally, they're gone. It's easy to look at Florida and think that they're not our friends, not our family, not our people, that it would never happen here, that we're safe. But that's exactly what those kids thought when they heard about Sandy Hook or Marshall County. Now, Massachusetts is actually one of the best states with gun control, and because of that, we have the lowest rate of gun deaths. But we can be a leader in many new legislation and strengthen our former ones. Today is the perfect opportunity for you to write to our House of Representatives and Senators. On the piece of paper that's being passed around, hopefully, we listed some things that you can write about. So right now, I, along with all of you, I'm gonna get out a piece of paper, a pen, and I'm gonna write to them. So I want everyone to do that too. Guys, do you have your backpacks? Like, do some of you have your backpacks with you? Okay. Do you guys have paper in there? No? You don't have paper in your backpack? Alright. I guess we're not writing letters today. Okay. What we're gonna do, can everybody just be quiet, please? We're gonna walk once around the block because you guys don't have papers. If you do write the letters, can you please give it to me, and then we're going to deliver it to our state of representatives and our senators. But right now, we're going to walk around the block silently, please. Okay, as a moment to remember all those laws. Okay, thank you guys.
You're still broken all these years later. Always. Today we organized a walkout, and we had a lot of high school students and students from a council that came and supported the cause and respected the lives of the Parkland shooting. And I also think that it was really special because for a lot of us, it's our first time participating in any sort of speaking up for our civil rights, and it's something that we'll always remember. And a lot of high schools around the country have been doing the same thing, so it's very it's a step that we're taking into our lives and playing our role in this country.
I think we learn a lot about protests and walkouts and marches in our history books, and no one really realizes how scary it is to ask people to do it with you. So this was a first step. Even if we didn't get accomplished all that we wanted everyone to write a letter. Even though that didn't happen, this was the first step. And so I know beginning this, I was terrified. I was what if nobody comes out? What if I'm the only one there? But now I know that people are willing to come out if you convince them of the cause, or if they are feeling the same way, they just don't know how to voice it. So this was a step into what we've been learning about in history for a very long time.
Going off what Brooke said, it was actually kind of funny how the whole walkout came to be, because she actually just messaged me on Instagram because I spoke up about something in my history class. And it's funny how something as small as saying something in a class in high school can ripple out to something as big as a walkout with 2,000 people attending it. Obviously the weather was a gigantic obstacle for this whole event, but I'm glad that we managed to carry through and still put this out there and unite Malden High in a very special way.
So there was not only Malden High students that came. I told somebody else about this too. It was also a Massachusetts council, and they were from all over the state. So they came as a group and they supported us because they meet at the Department of Education. So that was really cool. And also what I want to say is that there was also somebody standing on the front steps that was holding a sign that says the Second Amendment right shouldn't be infringed upon. So they were obviously against the walkout, but they were doing it in a peaceful way, and students that were walking in from the walkout, they were respecting them too. So I really like the fact that we can have opposing views and still be, talk about it, because one of the guys, actually two of the guys that were holding were actually some of my friends. So we can have these conversations without being outraged and without